Hello and welcome to today's ChannelCast. Bring unlimited network visibility to your clients with VSS monitoring. Today's event is brought to you by the Channel Company and VSS Monitoring. I'm Greg Lindy and I have a couple of quick announcements before we start today's program. This ChannelCast will be interactive between you and our presenters. Later in the program, we're going to ask for your feedback. To help, I recommend you disable your pop-up blockers if you haven't already done so. Please make sure you submit your questions by typing them into the Q&A block on the bottom left-hand side of your console. After you've typed your question in, please make sure you hit the Submit button as well. If you don't get an answer during this live ChannelCast, we will answer extra questions that come in via email shortly thereafter. The slides do advance automatically throughout this event. You can easily download a copy of the slides by clicking on the button at the bottom of your console. Just a reminder, one lucky attendee is going to win an Amazon.com gift card for $100. We're going to inform the winner by email shortly after today's live ChannelCast. This does not happen live. It happens after via email. If you're experiencing any technical problems, please make sure you visit our webcast help guide by clicking on the help link at the bottom of your console as well. Joining me today is Chris Dawson. Chris is a contributing editor here with the Channel Company, and Scott Sullivan. Scott is the Vice President of Worldwide Sales and Alliances at VSS Monitoring. Please make sure, if you'd like to learn more about these guys, that you click on them. Again, don't forget you can ask questions at any time during today's presentation. Just simply type your question in and then hit the Submit button. So, again, joining me is going to be Chris Dawson today, as you see in your console, and again, Scott Sullivan. Scott with VSS will be joining us after Chris's presentation. Before we start today, what I'd like to do is ask each of you a quick poll question. If you could please simply answer yes or no, that would be great. Are you currently offering Network Packet Broker, NPB, to your clients? It's a simple yes or no. Just simply click on the button and give us a quick answer. Is all we're looking for, and then we're going to get started. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you could please do that for us, it would be great. I see some of you doing it now, and again, this is just kind of helps us know who's out in the audience. Okay, I'm going to wait just another second or two, and then we're going to get started. Okay, Scott and Chris, looks like the majority of the audience does not currently offer network packet brokers. Is that a surprise to you guys? Scott, what do you think?
No, it's not, because this is a new area right now. I mean, Gartner only labeled this area last year, so it is not a surprise to me.
Okay, Chris, anything from you?
No, same here. I agree. This is, as we're going to see, a real opportunity going forward in an emerging market.
Great. Well, Chris, let me turn the program over to you now, and you can explain a little bit about NPB.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. And I'm going to start by setting the stage a bit here. And in a few moments, we'll hear about some specific opportunities that both VARs and MSPs can leverage in their own data centers and in those of their clients to really improve scalability. But first, let's understand what network packet brokers do, say that 10 times fast, and why they become so critical in modern data center environments. Now, as Scott mentioned, Gartner has been a leader in tracking the network packet broker market, but they just really defined this back in 2012. Their definition really puts this as part of the broader availability and performance monitoring market. Specifically, they explain that network packet broker appliances broker network traffic from multiple span ports or switched port analyzer ports, or network taps between network elements, manipulate the traffic, allowing for more efficient use of network performance monitoring, application performance monitoring, and security-related monitoring devices. A little more user-friendly version of that is up on your screen from the ebook Network Packet Brokers for Dummies. Actually, a really great book. The Network Packet Broker is a network device. It grabs traffic, slices and dices it, and directs it where it needs to go. And you can use this for a variety of network applications, all at a really high speed and at scale. So let's talk a little bit more about why we want to see NPBs, or why we need them really in the data center. The first reason that we're seeing is that there's a real inability of existing tools to match modern speed requirements. When we talk about tools, we're talking about this network performance monitoring and security monitoring market. We want to be able to also monitor our remote sites without having to deploy all these really expensive appliances and tools and software at all of these remote places. And more frequently, we're seeing branch offices, we're seeing smaller offices, remote offices around campuses around the world. So the ability to monitor at very high speed from a central location is becoming incredibly important. We're also now seeing in data centers much more frequently, not gigabit networks, not even 10 gigabit networks, but 40 gigabit and 100 gigabit networks, which these speeds, most appliances that are out there simply can't deal with these sorts of speeds. So we somehow have to move traffic around, grab the traffic in such a way that we can now do this very smartly. Also, the need for truly advanced network management tools. So if these tools, we need to go well beyond what we already have because the scale is increasing so greatly. We're seeing a proliferation of network appliances that have some very specific purposes. And again, those need to be able to scale and work at these really substantial speeds. Overloaded monitoring ports on existing network infrastructure. Most switches, most infrastructure has a couple of these span ports that Gartner refers to. These are quickly getting overloaded. Okay, so what network packet brokers bring to the data center? The ability to filter, splice, deduplicate, really manipulate at the deep packet level, again at very high speed. We're doing traffic aggregation and regeneration. So we grab the traffic, pull it together, do a whole bunch of things very quickly to it, and push it back out where it needs to go. And again, this is not something that can happen with the sets of tools that we have in place in most data centers until we start introducing NPBs. We see some real improvements in the way that we can use our software-defined networks. And in fact, for many data centers rolling out SDNs, network packet brokers really need to go hand in hand with an SDN environment. We're able to do caching and bursting, protocol management, and much deeper optimization of traffic than we can do with the other tools we already have. Again, when we're talking at the sort of speed and scale that we are referring to now in the modern data center. I'm grabbing a image here, again from this Network Packet Brokers for Dummies, and I believe this is in your related resources in your console. But really, if we look at that black layer, the Network Intelligence Optimization layer, this is a new layer that is being inserted into data centers that really allows not just optimization of the network, but optimization of how we look at our network, monitor it, and deal with it. What NPBs allow IT to do is have virtually unlimited connectivity to all their monitoring tools. And right now, that connectivity is absolutely being strained in most situations. Again, we're now able to use appliances that are designed for these slower networks, 1 gigabit and 10 gigabit networks, start using these appliances still in these 40 gigabit and 100 gigabit networks. And finally, this idea of centralized administration. So let's talk about what NPBs bring to the channel, and then we'll turn this on over to VSS. First of all, this is a very high-value product for VARs and system integrators. It is something that obviously not a lot of folks are offering, and yet if you're in the big iron space, really deploying high-speed large data centers or working with clients who are, you need to be thinking NPBs. What we're seeing is that these are allowing extraordinary levels of scalability for managed service providers, data center operators, and other cloud providers. And we're now talking about operating at web scale. This is what we need to be thinking about to really actively and proactively be monitoring how our networks are working and be dealing with them appropriately. We're seeing people who are able to offer much more aggressive SLAs as well as a result of being able to introduce these tools. They can protect their existing investments, as we mentioned. They can use some of these tools designed for slower environments in a faster environment, and that certainly helps out your clients as well, even as you're layering on these new products for them. And there's new opportunities for integrations and optimization. I want to conclude just by noting, though, that this market right now, Gartner, as I mentioned, is a leader in tracking NPVs, and they were the first to coin the term. But it's an opportunity that partners have to get in on the ground floor and ride a market that they've identified as growing at 30% per year. Gartner estimates this is roughly a $500 million market in 2014, drawing to a close. By 2017, that means we'll be looking at a $1 billion market. Core verticals in this market range from healthcare to manufacturing to retail and education, meaning that a wide variety of VARs can jump into NPBs with both feet. So with that, Greg, I'll turn this back over to you so we can hear from one of the major players in this rapidly expanding market.
Great, Chris. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I did just want to remind you that if you do have any questions for either Chris or Scott when he's done with his presentation, please simply type them into the Q&A block on the bottom of your console and hit the submit button. So at this point in time, I would like to turn the program over to Scott Sullivan, the Vice President of Worldwide Sales and Alliances with VSS. Scott, thanks for joining us today and welcome.
Greg and Chris, thank you very much. And Chris, thank you for that intro there. I think you gave a nice little overview of where the NPB market is. And what I'd like to do is kind of capitalize on top of that now, take a look at what we're seeing in this marketplace and why we think this is a fantastic marketplace for VARs and systems integrators to start playing in. So let me get started here. So if you take a look at being a partner and a profitability and what you guys are looking for, having been on your side of the fence, I used to be with Coopers & Lybrand at one time when there was a Big Six, and then with Microtex, I was a systems integrator for a number of years in this market, and I understand what you guys are looking for from the standpoint of revenue and focus and where this thing's moving to. It's an incredible marketplace, and it's moving very fast, as you heard. I mean, this is going to be $1 billion market here very shortly, playing within a $15 billion market with all the other tool vendors that sit here. So there is a global focus now. The type of customers we're seeing are large customers, Global 2000, with large data centers moving forward. A huge opportunity now for these customers who are moving from the 1 gig to the 5 gig to the 10 to the 40 to 100 gig opportunities right now, and the ability for these companies to get the right consultants inside the company to help them in that progress. As we know, just moving up to a 40 gig pipe is a massive achievement. And these ones right now, we want to go from a 40 to 100 gig. It's an incredible opportunity to make a lot of money on both sides of the house. And that's exactly where VSS sits, and it's where we want to play with our partners out there. As Chris was talking a little earlier, multiple verticals sitting in this marketplace. We play in all the verticals out there. We have some major focuses within financial services and oil and gas and federal and higher education, but we play across the spectrum here. Again, any company that has multiple data centers around the world requires something with the NPB focus here, and also on the network consulting side of the business. So again, incredible market to start playing into for those who have not yet played within the NPB marketplace. So what is the market opportunity? So again, very large data centers. For instance, here, VSS just closed a major opportunity. Our first time selling into this worldwide bank, and the first opportunity with them was over $3 million, right? And we have more to that to come. That was just the first foray into with this bank. So again, we're not talking about a $50,000 type of deal here. We're talking about at least $200K and above is the type of opportunities that you're going to see. And of course, from a multiple standpoint, take a look at the services and all that you guys would provide into this. We think it's an incredible area to go play with in this place. A lot of things around the complexity of the networks, the large network security pieces that play there. We have an incredible security offering within VSS as well. What's happening with the virtualization and the cloud pieces within these organizations. And again, just these companies moving across the spectrum of the 10Gs to 40Gs to 100Gs going forward here. So again, great opportunity to start getting into this space here, particularly if you already know the networking space and the security side of the networking space, and we can definitely help you in that spectrum as well. So taking a look at the growth here, as Chris pointed out earlier. Incredible growth rate. In fact, VSS, we are part of Danaher Corporation. Danaher Corporation is a $24 billion corporation out there. A lot of technology companies underneath their umbrella, and this is one of the fastest growing areas that Danaher sees, and hence one of the reasons why VSS is here, with Danaher driving into this space. So, by 2017, $800 million to $1 billion. And growing fast here. So a lot of money, a lot of initiative, a lot of focus here. And for you guys who have not, again, done this here, we look forward to educating you a little bit deeper on what it is and what VSS can bring to the table for you. Again, it's part of a $15 billion opportunity here for those people who are playing also already within the voice over IP space up here. WAN optimization, application networking. I mean, we have to play with all of the tool vendors out there. Just because where we sit in the infrastructure out there for network packet brokers, we touch all of these different areas out here. So again, a great opportunity to go play in this space. So we do have what we consider a different solution in this marketplace. So any packet anywhere in your network, right? So the self-healing part of the networks. Again, when someone takes a look at NPBs and particularly VSS, this is not a point solution. This is not us coming in and saying, hey, we're going to deploy you into one data center. If there's 14 data centers, 20 data centers, whatever these companies have, this is the way they look at it. We have to have at least some of your systems in each data center deploying this and pushing this thing forward here. So it's definitely end-to-end visibility, coverage of big networks, big data problems that are out there, active and inline monitoring for threat protection is one of the key areas you're going after. And again, of course, high availability with self-healing, and that's part of our vMesh architecture here. And again, the network packet broker dummy book will help you through some of that, as well as at the end of this, we'll give you a bunch of links to the other papers and white papers we have out there and other information of where this is moving to and how you can start playing with VSS going forward here. Let's move to the next slide here. Here we go. So within VSS right now, we have over 1,700 customers worldwide. We are based in California, in Sunnyvale, California at this time, but I have offices throughout Asia Pacific and throughout Europe and Middle East. From a Tier 1 service provider standpoint, the people that we play with out there as our customers, AT&T, the Sprints, the Vodafones, China Mobile, within the Fortune side of the business, London Stock Exchange, Dow, Duke Energy, JP Morgan, ADP. And again, as you guys have played with a lot of these same customers out here, you understand the complexity of the networks and the amount of data centers that they have globally. We also have played quite heavily within the public sector, within the government realm, both on the DoD side and the federal civilian side of the business as well. So our alliance ecosystem. With our service providers out there, Tektronix was actually one of our sister companies out here. We play very well with Alcatel-Lucent, IBM, Polystar. On the security side, IBM again, Arbor Networks. Blue Coat is one of our key partners out there. RSA, of course, McAfee, Access Data, FireEye. So again, all the tool vendors have to connect back into the infrastructure, and now NPBs are a key component of that to lay out this strategy, as well as we do give these application vendors the ability to scale themselves. So some of these applications were only built to get up to, let's say, maybe 10 gigabit, and because of what VSS does, we give them the ability now to scale up to a 40 to 100 gigabit application going forward here. And of course, we play with all the infrastructure, network infrastructure vendors out there with Huawei, Arista, Cisco, Ericsson, F5, and beyond. So partnering with VSS. So again, we're very excited here. I've been with VSS for about 6 months now, and it's one of the fastest moving markets that I've ever played in. And what I'm trying to do, having come from being a systems integrator myself here, our goal here at VSS is to support and drive our channel. We are 100% channel focused at VSS here. And what that means is you can trust that when we work with you and go after a partner together, that that is a team spirit as we go forward here. We will never take that opportunity direct, as some of our competitors will do out there at this time. So our goal, of course, is to sell more network packet brokers into the marketplace. And again, from a deployment standpoint, this is not a point solution as has been the past, with strictly using taps out there. Once you get into one of the data centers, you have to go into all the data centers, and particularly if you want to start using our vMesh solution, which is a very high-end solution, into these areas. It's an incredible deployment opportunity for you going forward. Working with our network intelligence tools out there, we have a full range of tools. We have a lot of subject matter experts within VSS that can help you, train you. We have free training both on the sales side as well on the engineering side to get your teams up and running. We can actually come out in the field and do that in the field, understanding that it's very hard for you to take your people out of the field and from making real revenue for you. So we understand what it takes to work with our channel, to grow our channel, and to go after the market together. So again, we give you the ability from a competitive standpoint to have 100% network visibility, big total data going forward against some of our key partners out there, Hitachi Data Systems and all that. In fact, we're deploying that into one of the largest telco opportunities in the world at this time. So again, anybody who's looking at network security and performance, particularly those who are migrating from 1G up to 100Gs, perfect opportunity to start playing with VSS and going after this market together here. So again, our ability to work with the channel and the ease of making that happen. Again, that's what our goal here is, to make this easy for you. A real partnership when we're both making money, and that's my goal here at VSS, is to make that happen. So you have the ability to actually register your deals, a very simple way of doing that, and of course you get an advantage of extra points for doing that, and you lock in the opportunity going forward. There is margin protection here. We understand sometimes, especially we get in some competitive areas out there. We understand that our competition sometimes would drop prices immediately, trying to win an opportunity, and we're there with you and trying to protect that margin with you as well. You will have definitely our sales and marketing support. Since we are a channel-focused company, I have people in the field worldwide that will work with you to help this thing out. If you need our expertise, we will be there. We'll fly in, we'll come in and help with the opportunity, understanding that you're driving the opportunity. Our goal here is early and often. What that means is we'll get you into the opportunity early in the cycle, right? And often we're going to make this thing happen. Understand that you have the ability to then get into this opportunity and make it much bigger than what it has. In fact, we just did this with a very large oil and gas company out there, to where we did bring in a partner. We're looking at about $200,000 opportunity to start with, and as you know, within 5 weeks, it has grown to over $1 million opportunity. So this is why we want to play with people like yourselves, who have that expertise, who have that touch with the customers as we go forward here. Again, we have incredible training here at VSS. We have training here at corporate, back in Sunnyvale, California. We have a full 5-day technical training for both the sales side of it, and we have another 5-day technical training for the engineering side of it, architectural side of the business. Understanding, though, it's very hard for a company to send people to Sunnyvale to get that done. We have chopped it up into different slices. We have trained our sales engineers in the field, who then can come to your facilities, can come to wherever you guys are located, and do that training in the field, hands-on with our equipment, moving forward here. I think we're ready for the Q&A right now, Chris.
Great.
Right?
Scott, thank you very, very much. Excellent presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I did want to remind you, please, that if you do have questions for our friends Scott and Chris, this is exactly where you type them in. But before we take questions from the audience, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to ask you for some feedback. This is why I asked you to check your pop-up blockers if you haven't already done so. What you should be seeing on your screen right now is a couple of questions. These are some survey questions that are very helpful for the folks at VSS and for us to know. There's only a couple of questions. A couple of them are single answers. A couple of them are multiple choice. Again, just some feedback on your industry, the type of products and services you use. Just helps us for better programs in the future. At this point in time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some questions for both Chris and Scott. Scott, I'm going to throw you the first question, and Chris, you're always welcome to chime in as well. But what benefits do you guys bring to channel partners? I mean, you talk about margin protection and bigger customer-sized deals. Scott, you just mentioned it, but I think we need to kind of drive it home here for some folks.
Yeah, exactly. So again, we're 100% channel-focused globally, right? So even though I have direct salespeople within the field, their job is to work and recruit the partners, to get the partners enabled, and this is how they're paid into my marketplace. So a number of my competitors, depending on the size of the deal, if the deal's over, let's say, $500K, they're going to go take that deal direct. We don't do that. We understand that the goal here is for both of us to make money, and how we move forward into this opportunity. So I've directed my field that we will never take a deal direct going forward here, and that this is exactly how we're going to work with our channel partners. Again, we have put together an incredible training program to get you up to speed quickly, understanding what it takes to do that within the field, within your environment. And we also have a follow-the-sun support mechanism here, which a number of our competitors do not have.
Okay. Scott, somebody's asking kind of like why VSS? You know, what is so special about your solution versus competitive solutions?
Hey, we got some great competitors in this marketplace, so I'm not going to downplay them. But VSS is always known to have the best technology out in the marketplace. We might not have the lowest technology in the marketplace, the widgets sales out there, to be honest and frank. But then again, that's not where you're going to make your money. All right, you're going to make your money because you're going to go after the large opportunities, the complex opportunities moving forward here. I don't think any of us want to sit here and sell widgets. We are not a widget company as some of the competition is out there. So we have high-end solutions. If you take a look at our roadmap, it's just an incredible solution going forward. We just recently come out with our vBroker 6000, which is our big chassis, right? So this is a great opportunity to push out there. We're finding incredible amount of opportunity. In fact, the demand has been backed up for about a couple of years now for us to come up with a solution which we just launched. In fact, we just our first sale in this opportunity was well over $1 million, right? And we see this thing moving forward very quickly here. So again, incredible technology, great roadmap where this is moving to. Lots of money to be made here. Professional service money, installation money going forward. I don't do any of that. That is what I'm expecting of my channel to provide into this marketplace. I will give you the training. I will give you an incredible product and the support you need to make that happen.
Great. Scott, thank you very much. I'm going to ask you a question, Scott, and again, I usually ask this question to most of our people on our webcast, but could you give us kind of like a success story, like something that somebody came to you, they weren't sure who you guys were, but it was a real big win, something that helped a lot?
Absolutely. We have it all the time, whether it be a local value-added reseller or systems integrator or a global reseller systems integrator. I'll step back. I mean, we recently just talked about an opportunity I had within the oil and gas realm, and I have one of the largest, if not the largest, company out there right now that we're working with. And we just started working with the regional team, systems integrator, value-added reseller, for this opportunity down into the southwest region of the United States. And that opportunity, again, we found the opportunity. We started working the opportunity. It was somewhere in the neighborhood of about a couple $100,000. We brought the partner in. The partner already has some great knowledge of the oil and gas industry, was able to now expand that opportunity within a very quick period of time. We're not talking about months and months and months here or a year to going forward with this. This was within 6 weeks. We went from a $200,000 opportunity to be $1.5 million just for the first run. That is going to be the first opportunity, the first purchase order coming in from this customer. And again, we think that customers like this that we're seeing here is going to be multi-million dollars just within the first couple of years of deploying these type of solutions.
Great. Now, was there, and again, this is kind of a follow-up to the question, Scott, so forgive me here for asking the question, but was there one that didn't work out for you guys that you learned from how to make others work better?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a few of those, to be very honest and frank here. And some of those were that when we were engaging the partners out there, the partner would take the opportunity and kind of keep us away from the customer, not allow us. The truth is, no one's going to know our product better than my sales team and my engineers, right? So when there's no trust there, and we're not allowed also to be at the table to help you through this process, again, we will never take that opportunity direct. And I know that's happened to some of these guys in the past. So people are reluctant sometimes, especially when it's a new partner to get this going. But what happened was, we were kept away from the table. We weren't able to answer all the right questions, and hence that partner did lose that opportunity. But I think they learned something from that, and we definitely learned something as well. That next time, we'll be fully engaged as a team with trust on both sides of it. Hence, one of the reasons for registering the deal going forward. So, we learn from our mistakes, but I want to make sure that any of our partners out there feel that there is trust, and we are there to support them through the cycle.
Great. Scott, I've had a couple people ask, how can they become a partner? And I do have a URL that I was going to push out at the end of the show, which takes people to vssmonitoring.com/partners/become a partner. And ladies and gentlemen, that'll appear as a pop-up on your player right now. So please, again, if you want to become a partner, here's an opportunity for you to become a partner as well. I'll push it again at the end of the show, but this gives you the opportunity to kind of look at the information as Scott is talking and answering questions on how to become a partner. Scott, this question, forgive me if it doesn't come out right, but I'm just going to read it out here. It says, would the slow last mile connectivity to data center be a bottleneck in NPB? And Chris, you can add something to this too, maybe.
So this is Scott here. So I don't believe that is going to be the case. We have experts around the world, and here we've been playing in this space for well over 10 years. We're not seeing that as a problem for us at this time. I think there's different ways of solving problems like that going forward. But to be honest with you, I'm not the technical genius here, so it's a question that we can actually answer for you and get that back to you once we engage our technical team here. But maybe Chris has something he can throw out here.
I agree with you, actually. I think that where we're seeing the most bottlenecks actually are as data centers try and scale up. The bottlenecks tend to be internal, unfortunately, and bandwidth is getting cheaper, it's becoming more ubiquitous. The connections to various pieces of the internet backbone are getting bigger and bigger. Those pipes are getting bigger, but trying to actually get a handle on these growing data centers and deal with the big data needs and analytic needs that are there, that's where the problems are really starting to occur, not so much the last mile.
Great. Well, guys, thank you. Again, some good questions. Chris, we haven't heard from you too much here. You gave a definition up front. Somebody was asking, could you just clarify the definition that you gave of kind of network packet brokers? Can we just maybe go back to it, and I'll push out the 101 again here?
You bet. Yeah, it's the network packet broker comes. It sort of is an extension of the old taps that were used to monitor what was happening and deal with what was happening on your network. The network packet broker can now do this at a much higher speed and at a much greater scale with more data. So it's grabbing the data flying through your switches and along your network, and it's then redirecting it to the appropriate places. Now, there's lots of things that are happening in intelligent switches and routers and all this sort of stuff in your data center, software-defined networking, you name it. Lots of things happen on their own. But when you really want to start doing heavy-duty monitoring, when you want to start imposing some really deep security and start dealing with, in particular in software-defined areas, that's when you start needing to kind of scale up and look at network packet brokers to be able to grab these packets and do what you need to do with them. So we're moving beyond the normal span ports that sit on your switches, and now we're able to leverage those in a much faster, bigger way. So I hope that clarifies a little bit. This isn't an easy thing, especially we know that a lot of folks aren't yet into this market. We saw that right up front. But it's really allowing you to manipulate your network traffic in such a way that you can very smartly use the existing tools or new tools for security and performance that are emerging.
Great. Chris, thanks a lot. Again, we continue to get questions here, folks, so just give me a second because I'm trying to go through them all as they're coming in. One question that kind of came in here is, and Scott, I'm going to direct this to you. It says, do you have equipment that supports links to 40 or 10 gigabit? Scott, are you muted?
Yes, we do. I'm sorry, I was on mute.
Is that okay?
Yes, we do.
So, okay, great. So I guess that was a simple yes. Okay. Scott, you also, another question that came in, you mentioned something about the different NPB solution, and that was on the slide that I'm going to push out to you now. Do you want to just kind of refresh, and there was a build here on the slide, but can you just maybe walk through this again for the audience?
Yes, no problem here. So again, not to get too tactical because you won't like it coming from me, but so we do have a different solution going forward here. Our goal is the large data centers and where this is moving to. where some of the competition is falling with NPBs into more of the SMB marketplace. So again, if you take a look at the tools, the tool vendors that we have partnered with, and some of the technologies that we've actually aligned into these tool vendors, particularly within the security space, that we really have a differentiation from the competition into those areas. And also the ability now to scale and take these applications that were only built to, let's say, get up to maybe a 5 gig. We can actually take those tools and applications now and scale them throughout the infrastructure. So the ROI that VSS provides in the marketplace is outstanding compared to the competition. And it's really a leg up for you to get into these complex data centers when they turn around and say, geez, do I spend $10 million just to upgrade my tools, or can I bring something like VSS, vBrokers into the mix here and actually save a ton of money moving this forward here? So that's definitely one of the values that we bring to the market.
Okay, Scott, I heard you mention the competition word. A couple of people have asked, how do you compare with your competitors?
Yeah, we have great competitors in this market, to be very frank, guys who have played for years out there, but again, a lot of them focus more into the SMB or the lower end size of the market here, where it's more of a cost competitive type of approach. We really don't want to go play down there. We do have products that will do that and go into the marketplace. In fact, I have a new product coming out right now, our Optimizer, which gives you the ability to have 24 ports at a very, very low price within that marketplace. But again, when you take a look at our history where VSS has always played and moving to, it is the very complex and large data centers and type of companies who are moving forward, particularly when you're talking about security. Security is a huge issue out there. And again, security was one of the reasons why this very large oil and gas company has picked VSS moving forward for this, to roll this out to at least 14 of their data centers.
Cool. Chris, I'm going to ask you to kind of sum up here a little bit, just to give Scott a chance. We've asked him a bunch of questions. Could you just give our audience kind of like that 50,000-foot views, something that we can give them as a final thought here for you?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. I think NPBs are such a new market for a lot of folks here, and yet there's a reason this market is growing so quickly. We don't have any choice but to be adopting some powerful new hardware and appliances and tools to be able to keep up with changes in the data center market. And right now is absolutely the time for VARs to jump into this and begin talking to their customers and their clients about how they can really help them scale and really do a much better job within their data centers. So now is the time. This is a great spot to get started with.
Cool. All right. And just trying to go through some of these questions and see what else, Scott, I can ask you. But in the meantime, Scott, why don't you also just let our audience know, where the market growth is? Like, are you seeing it in specific verticals? Are you seeing it in certain levels of companies? I know we had asked the audience those questions, so I'd like to see, where you feel that the biggest market growth is right now.
Sure, absolutely. So we again, for the, let's say, companies that are $1 billion and above, so the growth for us and the focus for us is the guys who are moving their infrastructures from, let's say, 10 gig to a 40 gig or 40 gig to 100 gig. That's the biggest growth area right now we're seeing with the NPB market, and they need the help from very sophisticated systems integrators and value-added resellers into that marketplace to help them make that decision of how they do it, how long does it take to do that, how do they deploy a solution of that magnitude into these data centers. So there's a lot of new applications going out there right now that are forcing these companies to move forward in this direction. So for us, that's one of the major keystone markets. Financial services has always been an area of focus for VSS, and we're seeing that globally. So that's definitely a great area to go play with. Oil and gas, as I already stated, but even all the way to higher education. People with very complex distributed networks who need a very secure environment. Those are the guys we're playing with. So again, if you're focused more within the SMB marketplace, VSS might not be the solution of choice. You might want to go to some of our competition to do that. If you focus more into the higher end of the marketplace, we'd love to talk to you about how we can create a partnership and move forward.
Great. Chris, you mentioned in one of your slides also what NPB brings to the data center, something about deep packet inspection. Somebody's asking, could you define that a little bit more? I don't know if you're technical enough to do that, but if you could, I think it would help.
Sure. Again, I can give kind of a high level instead of diving into the deep pieces of it, so to speak. But the deep packet inspection means that you've got these bits of information, and a packet is a nice analogy. So if you think about how post office works or how the mail works, we have packages coming across. We have envelopes. Those envelopes have addresses, they have return addresses, and they have contents. And so to be able to actually look deeply at those contents and then do something based on that inspection, whether it is to trigger some sort of security protocol or algorithm, or to be able to direct traffic in a certain way, monitor certain types of traffic based on destination, based on type, all these things are involved in deep packet inspection. And something needs to, an appliance needs to be fast enough to open up these packets, look at them, aggregate information about them, and then close them back up and send them on their way, whatever that way is meant to be. So it relates to the speed with which we can actually examine the contents of IP traffic.
Okay. Chris, based on what you just said, one question that kind of comes to mind is, with people bringing their own devices to work, that whole phenomenon, I don't think IT administrators always know how much traffic is going to be on the network. And again, does that play into this at all?
A little bit. I think NPBs are a little more focused on what's happening in a major data center, but there is certainly network traffic, broader network traffic that may be passing around here, and the ability to implement much stronger levels of security in particular are certainly really critical. So as we see people bringing in lots of new potential vectors for malware, we see people accessing the network in new ways and leveraging network capabilities in new ways, our ability to really carefully monitor what's happening, what's going where, becomes incredibly critical. So anything we can be doing that increases the security of our network and allows us to impose lots of new security tools and appliances, even as we start operating at extremely high speeds and at scale, that's why this market is growing so fast.
Okay. Scott, this question came in for you. It says, what happens to Enritsu?
What happens to Enritsu? I'm not sure of the question, but Enritsu is one of the partners we have out there. The carrier area has always been a focus within VSS. We've been very, very successful at the Tier 1 and Tier 2 levels within the carrier perspective worldwide. So if someone actually out there does have technology that plays in that space, we'd love to talk to you about how we can help you deploy that. If you're a person who actually sells and integrates into that space, we can do that as well.
Great. Scott, I already asked Chris for his words of wisdom and his final thought. I'm going to ask you for the same before I close up today.
Well, on my side, of course I'm very excited, where we're playing right now. I think the opportunity is huge. This is a new market, but it's growing significantly, and anything that can get to $1 billion within a quick period of time here is definitely a market that I'd want to play with it. I think the reason why you should be looking at VSS is we are 100% channel focused. We know how to take care of our channel and our partners as we move forward here. We will not take a deal from you. We have all the right mechanisms to make you successful with our training, our support, and everybody in the field is again focused on making that happen for you. So again, opportunity is huge. I think the market is growing tremendously. Anybody who wants to be playing within the network space, I think NPBs is the way to go with that. And we can do nothing but have success going forward here and make money.
Great. I just want to thank you, Scott, and thank you, Chris, for some excellent information. And ladies and gentlemen, there are a couple of other questions that we will reply to via email. But we are going to end our Q&A now. And again, what we're going to do is the questions we didn't get to, we will answer via email. So again, I just wanted to thank everyone for attending this ChannelCast brought to you by the Channel Company and VSS Monitoring. If you'd like to check out our upcoming programs, please make sure you go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/channelcast or crn.com/channelcast. There's a lot of more information there for you as well. In a moment, I'm going to bring you back to the VSS monitoring site if you'd like to sign up to be a partner. If you haven't already done so or checked out the page, that would be great. Please feel free to do that. And at this point, I just wanted to let everyone know that today's ChannelCast is copyright 2014 by the Channel Company. The presentation materials are owned by or copyright, if that's the case, by the Channel Company and VSS Monitoring, who are solely responsible for their content, and our individual speakers are solely responsible for their content and their own personal opinion. On behalf of our guests, Chris Dawson and Scott Sullivan, I wanted to thank you all for joining us today and wish you all a good day. And again, as I mentioned, I'm going to take you back to the VSS site and sign off here and wish you all a good day. Thank you so much for joining us, folks.